This presentation is pretty similar to the one that I had done last year. The difference was we did it as a webinar. And unfortunately, with the webinar, there wasn't the ability to sort of communicate with the participants. This presentation, we're now presenting via Zoom, which at the very least, we have the ability for some communication with everyone that's here today. So we're going to encourage you guys to use the chat box if you have any questions along the way. And there may be an opportunity for us to get you on there live and have some open conversation. There's actually quite a bit of material for us to just kind of go through in a 90-minute period of time. And our district governor, like Michelle Wyatt, will join us towards the end of the seminar to share some words of inspiration with us. As I said, this presentation is very similar to what we did last year. The difference is we have the pleasure of having Nicole Reardon here with us, who is the current president of the Colchester Lions Club, to share with us her experience this year and some insight as we go through the presentation. So welcome and congratulations on your newly elected position as club president. I don't know what you were thinking, but I always liked, this is my favorite video. If you guys have seen any presentation I've done before, you've probably seen this, but I cannot not watch this video. So it's a bit of an icebreaker. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Chat me if you don't have sound, okay?
You enjoying your first pancake breakfast?
Oh, it's delicious. Thanks, Lion Carissa. Hey, guys, listen, I know I'm a new member, but I had an idea.
Okay, do tell.
What if we also served waffles?
Waffles! Lions eat pancakes. Always have, always will.
Do you want to lose your pin?
No, pancakes are the champion of the breakfast table. They're the only food worthy of the king of the jungle.
Well, it might be nice to have a little variety, right? I mean, hey, look, we have syrup, we have butter in the back, and I actually carry a waffle iron in my hatchback.
You remind me of this guy who tried to bring French toast to the group. French toast Dennis.
Yeah, we don't talk about FTD anymore.
R.I.P. FTD. Oh yeah, he didn't die, but he's dead to us.
Hashtag
Lions pride.
Look, I know that being a lion is all about following tradition, but I'm just saying, what if we made our own traditions, you know, shook things up a little bit? Like what if we served crepes?
No.
Or a quiche? What about dinner for breakfast?
It's very clear. Pancakes in the morning, spaghetti at night, everything in Lions Club will be all right. It's there in the bylaws.
No, it isn't.
It should be.
Sorry for going against the group here,
Understood.
right?
Of
course.
Don't worry about it.
No big deal.
I brought a salad for myself. I hope that's okay.
Absolutely.
Fine.
It's not Rabbit's Club. Eat your pancakes.
Do you want some syrup?
No, thank you.
Do you want syrup?
Yes, I
There
would
it
love
is.
some syrup. Thank
Oh,
you.
Fun.
I just love that one. I'm sorry.
Never seen that before.
Yeah. So, you know, but my point, Paula, do you have me spotlit with Nicole? If you can spotlight us, that might be better too. What I love about that video is the point where he says, I know Lions are all about tradition, but maybe we have to think outside of the box. And certainly after the year that we've had during this pandemic, there really hasn't been much of a traditional Lions year for our clubs. And I think that's going to be sort of the challenge for our incoming presidents is how do we get back and how do you get your club members to re-engage with themselves at the club level and get back to meetings and get back to, you know, being the traditional Lions Club that we've been. In some ways, we've learned different ways of communicating and serving. And I think, you know, those are valuable things that we've come away with. But I would imagine that most clubs would say that it was a very difficult year just to kind of keep things together. Nicole, would you agree with that since you had to serve as club president during this year?
I definitely agree. I mean, volunteerism is definitely down. We were able to do actually a lot of things, but it was very difficult to get volunteers this year. So I hope that people start to re-engage now that things are getting better in our state. and in our town. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some new members come back to Lions.
Great. So let's start off here with your position as club president. You are the chief executive officer of your club. I also think you're also the cheerleader of the club. This schematic here basically lays out the setup of our clubs. What I think is important to kind of take away from this slide is your position as club president. It is not at the very tippity top. You are working for and with your club members and your board of directors. And then you are also there to provide guidance and support for the other officers of your club secretary, your treasurer, and your VPs. We're gonna just talk about some of your responsibilities as club president. Your responsibility is to preside at all your club and board meetings. I encourage you guys now, most clubs, know when they're meeting, where they're meeting, but you should have in your agenda or your own club directories the idea of when your meetings are, where they're going to be. Hopefully this year you guys will be meeting in person. But have a purpose to the meetings. Not every club meets twice a month as a social meeting. They may have one social meeting where they have a guest, and then another meeting where it's just business only, or a board of directors meeting. So as club president, that is your responsibility to make sure that you know exactly what you want.
It looks like
Issuing the call for.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Keefe. Sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna have to intervene because I can't even use the chat box. It's disabled, and I have my hand patiently waiting.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw
So
that.
I'm just letting you know. Respectfully.
All right, thanks, Roland. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna see if Paula can fix that because I don't think I have that ability for the chat box.
I did send him a message, so let me see what's going on with that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, just let
So
me.
Roland, yeah, and I have no problem with people unmuting and chiming in. We just don't want 20 people doing that all at once. So if we can't get that chat box going, then chime in. Thanks, Roland. The third item on the list, appointing the standing and special committees of the club, I think is really important. Most of our clubs have established committees, but if there's certainly a new project that you're motivated to get the club involved with, a new service project, a new fundraising project, you certainly have the ability to add sort of ad hoc committees to your club. What's I think is really important is just don't assume that your current committee chairpersons or committee members are going to stay in the same position or want to stay in the same position. So you really should be reaching out to these committees now, making sure that everyone who's involved with those committees should be staying on those committees. Are you going to reappoint them? Are you going to move people around? Are you going to ask other people to join those committees? And then appoint your committee chairpersons. Mm-hmm. The other important thing, I think, as club president is you should charge them with something. You should let them know the expectation of the committee. Some of these committees are sort of no-brainers. If you have committees for the pancake breakfast or whatever project you're doing, it may not be something that you have to spend a lot of effort on. But I do think it makes sense for you to reach out to your committee chairpersons and your committee members to say, all right, this coming year, there are 2 or 3 items I would love to see you address, especially with things like the membership chair, the membership committee. Do you want them to host a new membership orientation? Do you want them to come up with a club brochure? So don't just assume that everyone knows what they're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, we should also hold, everyone accountable, knowing that they're volunteers, knowing that things change, but, check in on these committees. Let them know what you expect. If you expect them to make a report at one of your club meetings, make sure they know that. Make sure they're on their agenda and that they know about that. Nicole, any issues or challenges that you had this year with the committees?
Most of we did a lot of service projects more than we did projects. The things that we did were pretty individualized. So we have a lot of events coming up that I'm now starting to put together committees for. So I'm actually looking to put together committees for. We're having Carnival now. So we're looking for can't say it.
Commitments.
Numbers.
Commitments of your committees. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes going forward. I just put an email out this last night for that. So we're going to see how that goes.
Good.
People step up to fill the positions.
Yeah. And like I say, most of us have had committees that have sort of been in hibernation over this last year. This may also be a good time for your clubs to really assess the need for some of these projects. You know, not every project needs to be around for 25, 30 years. There are times that, you know, the project is done, it's exhausted. There's no commitment from your members to continue with the project. So as club president, you should be taking a look at all those things. And again, don't be afraid to think outside the box and shake things up a little bit. I think we're going to need to do that.
We did that in our club. We sadly eliminated pumpkins and pooches, which was a hard decision, I think, for our club to get rid of, eliminate. But we added a Cashtober raffle that took the place of that, and it was very successful. But it was a hard decision for members in the club who had been there for a long time to make that decision to let that go. But we've replaced it with a very successful raffle instead. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Roland, I see your hand up.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning. I have a question for my club specifically. We're about to turn 100 years old, and I really would like to have certain members on the cabinet to help assist us with the centennial ideas, because we have several of them. And I think that is very, very important for the incoming district governor to support our club, because we're in a rebuilding stages. So that's something that I want to contribute what I'm going through as right now. Do you have any slides to address that as well?
Yeah, there's a point here where we kind of go over the resources that are available to you guys as club presidents. It's almost overwhelming how many resources are available to all of us for just about everything. But I think in that particular instance, Roland, I would be looking towards, you know, past club presidents, PDGs, you know, people who have put on these events in the past, who can sort of mentor you and your club through that process. So we'll talk about resources coming up.
It's more or less like teamwork, not mentorship, actually. I actually would like to have people from the district to actually work with as teammates with our club and with our, not as a mentor, because I have experienced members on my club. I do have senior members on my club that I do report to and that I do work with. So I don't want to step on the toes of some of my senior members that have been there for 20 or 30 years, respectfully.
Yeah, that's fine. Moving down on the list there, regular elections, as we know, March, April, you should be preparing your slate of officers for your club. Elections are usually in April, and then you're reporting your election results by, I don't know if it's May 1st or May 15th now for that PU 101. Cooperating as an active member of the District Governor's Advisory Committee of the zone. Again, I can't tell you how important it is for zone chairs to have a good relationship with your club, and for your club to participate with the zone and their zone meetings. Traditionally, zone chairs should be having at least 3 zone meetings per year. At the beginning of the year, you guys will get a directory. District Governor Michelle will have assigned your club to a specific zone and to a specific zone chair and region chairperson. Take advantage of those meetings. It's an opportunity for you to gather with other clubs, share ideas, share concerns, learn information from the district level and the international level, and to work together, maybe even on some projects within the zone area. So when you guys take your oath of office as club president, that is one of those things included in your oath, that you are expected to participate within those zone meetings. So things to do in preparation for your year, you're doing it this morning, attending the club officer training. And again, there is a ton of trainings that you can do, lionsclub.org, through the Learning Center, the Resource Center, modules that you can go through. I had neglected to send you guys the link for the Club President ebook, but I would encourage you to go to lionsclub.org for resources and just type in President ebook. What's really nice about this ebook, and this also applies to your vice presidents, is that there are hyperlinks throughout the entire document for just about every resource that you can imagine for your club. And as club president, you could literally spend weeks, I think, going through some of this stuff. Some people learn better that way, some people don't, but I would encourage you to at least take a look at that. Hopefully you've had a good relationship with your current sitting president or past presidents, but I think it's nice to have at least maybe a conversation or two in private with the current president, just to see the challenges they may have had this past year. Again, this year is different than most years. Nicole, do you guys have like a past president group or mentorship within your club that helps upcoming presidents, or no?
Yes, the past president mentors the current president. So yes, that's how it works here in our club.
And hopefully most clubs have 2 vice presidents. Not all clubs can do that.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully as a vice president, you're involved in the conversations, so that, you know, when you come to term, you're prepared for at least some things. One of the other things I'll just throw out there is, as prepared as you think you're going to be, certainly expect the unexpected. You'll find that in just about every club position, but certainly as club president, you know, you're going to be hit with some things that may catch you off guard. And again, I would encourage you to take advantage of your mentors or past presidents to, you know, hopefully get some good advice, sound advice. Setting goals, again, you know, better for you, better for your club. Goals can include things related to your membership goals. Do you want to push for new members? Are you working on membership retention? Are there fundraising projects that you want to address as far as getting rid of current ones or introducing new fundraisers? Certainly service projects were big this last year. We are, at the end of the day, a service organization. So set some goals. Doesn't mean we achieve them all, but when you look at these other resources, the Blueprint for a Stronger Club, Club Excellence Program, again, you can click on those links in the ebook, but you know, there's action planning available to help you figure out your goals. We talked about choosing your committee chairpersons. One of these things I think makes sense, and we're trying to do it, I think, a little bit more on the district level, is, you know, having someone experienced and maybe someone not as experienced on your committees, with the hope that there's a rotation of chairpersons and preparing people who maybe are not comfortable with that particular position to learn more about it, and then have that transfer of the chairperson in the future. So be careful in your selection of those people. Working with your club treasurer, again, as club president, you have your own responsibilities, but you really should make sure you understand the responsibilities of your club treasurer and your club secretary. Again, there are ebooks for the club secretaries and treasurers that you may want to take a look at. A lot of our clubs have club secretaries and treasurers that have been around for a while. I think that's a good thing and a bad thing, but you may want to make sure you have an understanding of how they're doing their job. Nicole, what's your situation? You guys have a treasurer who's been around for a while, I believe. I know him.
Honestly, Greg, my treasurer, he's an amazing person. We have at least 2 or 3 conversations a week at lunch. He's like my lunch date. And we talk 2 or 3 times a week. He tells me everything that's going on with the club. We run ideas off each other because he knows what's going on financially. And he's really my go-to person in the club, honestly. So without him, he's a mentor to me. I've been in the club for just 3 years. And he is a seasoned person in the club. So as a treasurer and as someone to give me ideas and help me, he has really been the backbone for me this year. So he really knows everything. So
I'm giggling because you said you were a member for 3 years.
just
You're a
now
club president.
going on the second year. So
All right, threw you right into the fire. The only other thing I'll touch base. Oh,
This is Lane Pete. May I
yes. Hi, Pete.
speak? Hi.
Yep.
Ledger Lions Club. I've been a member for 4 years, going on 5. Our treasurer is just stepping down now, and he's been our treasurer, Walter Keach, Lion Walter Keach, for quite a few years, and some of you may know him. So he's one of our senior officers stepping down out of the position and letting somebody else take it over. So, yeah, we're making changes.
And that can be very difficult for the incoming treasurer to kind of figure out the books. Not everyone is doing QuickBooks, and
well, we've also formed a finance committee.
Yeah, and every club should have that. The one thing I want to touch base on this list here is the due structure. Every club should have a good understanding of dues. I think international dues are still at $43 per member. Our multiple district dues or our district dues are $8.85 per member, where $4 of that goes to the multiple districts. So right out of the gate, you're looking at $52 per member per year to cover international district and multiple district dues. So whatever your club charges for dues above that $52 is what your club has available for its admin fund. We did waive our dues. District and multiple district dues were waived for the second half of the year during the pandemic. So I think that gave some clubs a break, but I do think we have to take a look at financially where we're going to be this year, if your admins are healthy or not, and can we afford to add burden to our members. So just take a look at that, work with your finance committee and your treasurer on that.
Greg, Keith, I'm calling you Greg now.
That's all right.
With this, so there's a question from Caitlin. She wants to know if the treasurer is always the chairperson of the finance committee.
No, not necessarily. No, because I can even say, like, on the multiple district level, as the CST, I am the treasurer for the multiple district, but I am not the chairperson. So I would imagine that could apply at the club level. That may be a question for the treasurer's seminar, but usually the treasurer is sort of the ex officio member of the finance committee. They're there to provide the information, but not necessarily make all the decisions. And I think that's kind of a wise way of approaching that.
We have three members as the finance and the treasurer involved as well.
Yeah. Moving on, as your term progresses, you're conducting your regular meetings as well as your board meetings, communicating frequently to ensure members are up to date. Communication, boy, have we had to figure out a new way to do that this year. I'm a fan of just using every avenue that you have. I love snail mail. I'll still send things out in the mail, emailing. One of the hardest things I find to do is actually picking up the phone and talking to people. But, at the end of the day, you have to communicate every way you think possible to make sure that your membership is fully aware of what's going on. And it's a two-way street. You're hopefully having good communication with your members, touching base with them and seeing where things are. You should have your finger on the pulse of your own club, putting information out to other Lions at the district level. I know Colchester does a fantastic job, and I'm seeing it more and more with other clubs as far as using a Facebook page and posting events on Facebook, Instagram. So some of us are not comfortable with that stuff, but I'm sure there's someone in your club who is very IT savvy. But, and then repeat. We often say that you have to send something out about 7 times before you get a response. And Lord knows our Lions are not one to RSVP early or do things early. So communication is going to be very important. And I think, again, trying to re-engage our members this year we may have to get on the phone and just check in on people. Handling correspondence promptly. Try to maintain a 24-hour standard. What does that mean? I unfortunately am one of those people who have that knee-jerk kind of response, and it's not always a good thing. As club president, you're going to be fielding all kinds of questions, problems, concerns. If you don't have the answer, make sure you say that, and that you're going to do your best to find the answer and go to someone who has the answer. Be upfront, be honest, respond to people, but you know, it's okay to take some time. I always say, you know, give me at least 24 hours to get back in touch with you, because I may have to do my homework to find the answer. Or if there's a conflict, you know, don't let your emotions kind of be the first thing you put into that email. Take a breath, make some phone calls. But I do think you have to be accessible as club president to your members. So if they're calling you, emailing you, texting, whatever it is, make sure that you respond. But be careful.
Hey, DG Key, I have a question regarding, you brought up conflicts, and I definitely have a lot of those type of situations, especially when it's racial. I don't hear the district governor and stuff of them talking about these things and how to relieve these type of situations and what are the procedures on these things, because I live in a very diverse community, and the only way that I can maintain and also maintain and retain membership if certain things are addressed. And I feel like if they're ignored, I feel that it's going to hurt my membership in the club that I'm representing.
Sure. And I do have a slide rolling a little bit later in the presentation on conflict resolutions and sort of the resources for that. So give me a little bit to get to that, and we'll address that specifically for you, okay?
All right, thank you.
Let's see, what else? Select projects, recruit new members, attend zone meetings. These are things we've talked about. Reviewing monthly membership and activity reports. Again, holding your club secretary responsible, making sure that the reports are being made. There's an importance to these service reports, you know, reporting how many hours your club is participating in certain events. There's a whole reason to reporting to LCI on this information, because they use that information to consider grants and other things that come back to us. So it's very important that we know on a district level, on a multiple district level, and on an international level how our clubs are doing. That's the only way international knows what kind of resources they need to provide to us at the grassroots level. So please make sure that your club secretary is reporting. And if you have trouble knowing how to do that online, MyLCI, again, we'll talk about resources later on, but there are plenty of people available who can talk you through those steps. So again, working with your club secretary, giving notice about your meeting dates. Again, most clubs have a directory. Most clubs know when they're actually meeting, when and where. But again, sending reminders, sending an agenda prior to the meeting. One of my pet peeves is coming to a club meeting and there's no agenda. I find it chaotic, inefficient. You know, as a club president, your job is to preside over that meeting, keep control of that meeting. So having an agenda allows you to do that, and also sends a message to your membership what you plan on getting accomplished during that meeting. So put together your agendas, work with your club secretary on that. Make sure if you're expecting reports that everyone who's on that agenda knows they're expected to give a report. It's also very beneficial for your club secretary to have stuff sent to them electronically. So if you have a committee chairperson giving a report, I would encourage them to send them, you know, an actual written report to your club secretary so that they can easily put that into the club minutes. Selecting, you know, on your agenda, again, some clubs are doing nothing but business. Some clubs will introduce or invite a guest. Again, control your meeting. You don't want to be having a 20-minute guess when you guys also have to vote on a budget or something along that line. Nicole,
Yes.
what are you guys doing now for, are you doing 2 general membership meetings a month in Colchester?
No, we have one regular meeting and then e-board.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've always done that, or is that something you guys have changed over the time, you think?
You know, I don't really know, since I've only been in the club coming on 3 years. So since I joined, it's just been the one monthly meeting and then the e-board.
Yeah, and this has been sort of one of my concerns with the pandemic is, yes, we're a service organization, but I also believe we are a social one. And a lot of our members who've been in Lions for 10, 20, 30 years, they're comfortable with that. So I think we almost have to come up with a hybrid opportunity for our club meetings this year where we can meet in person, but if there are people who are still uncomfortable meeting in person, to have the ability to chime in on Zoom or some kind of a hybrid meeting, I think would be very helpful. Plus, there are situations where people just can't get to a meeting physically, whether there's something going on. It would be nice for them to be able to still participate or hear or join the meeting via Zoom. So hopefully our clubs.
We tried to do a Zoom and a in-person meeting at the same time, and we have to figure out a better way to make it work. It was a little challenging to have it work with someone working a computer and people hearing, and we had to position it in the room. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's something I think that you can work. Just have to figure out a way to, someone who's a little more tech savvy to make it work for the club. Yeah, but I think it's a good idea, because we do have some members that live in out of state now that probably would like to participate, because they did stay in the club, but they moved out of state.
Yeah. And we have some snowbirds who go to Florida for the winter and then come back up. Yeah. So I'm hoping we can make some sense of that. Have a good understanding of parliamentary procedures, Robert rules, how to run a meeting. Again, makes your meetings more efficient, more productive. We have some slides later on that, take a look at, boring meetings and things of that nature. So we'll touch on that a little bit later, but ensure your facilities. Yep.
I got another question. This is regarding the district governor and district cabinet. There's people and other members that will like to, even if they're not a part of it, they would like to know what's going on. They would like to see a recording of what's going on so they can comment and have input. I really think that is an effective way of actually getting, engagement from other presidents, because there are some presidents that do want to know what's going on in these meetings. They do want to know what's being allocated and stuff of that nature. So that hasn't been addressed.
Yeah,
and
just as a reminder, cabinet meetings are open to everybody. General membership, I don't think there's a notice that goes out to everybody, but anyone is welcome to come to a cabinet meeting. There are minutes of the cabinet meeting. And I think, Roland, that would maybe be something that we could have the minutes available on the district website where people could access the minutes of the meeting. But I kind of like your idea of maybe the potential of having the meetings actually recorded. Like say if we're in the habit of...
Because a lot of city council meetings and stuff like that I've sat on or sat in, they actually have them recorded. People and the citizens of that region can comment. And I think that we'll get more engagement from our whole entire Lions Club community and actually get more a representation of what's going on versus just a select active group. Yep. There's no shade to the select active group, but there's other people that might be interested and they might not have a avenue to express themselves effectively.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, the challenge we have, Roland, is just coming up with multiple avenues just to make that more transparent, more accessible for everybody. This slide that you guys have in front now, I think is a good slide for you to just kind of take a look at and digest, before your year starts, to kind of assess your club before you take that home. Because if you have, certain answers to these things, it may jar you to say, well, I don't think we have that. So what am I going to do about that? So when we think about, is a club healthy or not, we're not talking about, do you have 100 members versus 20 members? We have clubs that are very successful, and it's all how you define the word successful. But we have small clubs who are very successful. They do major fundraising projects, service projects. They have good communication. They have good turnout at their meetings, whereas some larger clubs may even struggle more with that. So it's not about the number of members that you have. It's not about how much money you're raising or how much money you're giving out. But I do think this list is, you know, a good list for us to say, all right, are we in good shape? So does your club have a major service activity? I like how this is at the top of the list, because again, we are a service organization. It's not all about money. So do you have a service activity? Do you have multiple ones? You know, our current ones being exhausted, is it time to think of something new? Does your club have a major fundraising project? And again, we've had to, you know, find other ways of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Does your club have good communication? I don't know if I can see this. Do you have effective meetings? And we'll talk about making sure you do have that. Do you have a membership growth and development plan? Do you have a leadership development plan? And then at the end of the day, do you have club spirit? Are you guys having fun? Nicole, you want to touch base on any of that? That makes sense, I would think.
Absolutely. So we have our biggest event. Well, it's a service. We have our holiday baskets, and our biggest fundraiser that we do is our carnival, which thankfully we are going to have now. So I think the most important thing for me to do is engage in people wanting to volunteer more and having a passion for it, because we have a very large club. We're a club of 114 members, but we really only have a small amount of members that really participate. So my goal is to really try to engage more members to participate. So again, very big club, but we really have a small amount of members that truly really are passionate about, I feel like, volunteering. So it goes to show you.
We find that most new Lions drop out of a Lions club within the first 3 years. And typically the number one reason is they were not given anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
They were not engaged. They were not put on a committee. They joined the club and then they just sat there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, try to get everyone involved.
I always try to end my president's letter it's called our perusal, which is our monthly newsletter that goes out. And I always try to encourage members to come with any idea that they have, big or small. I'm willing to listen. I don't mind change. I'm all for change. No idea is, I don't think, a dumb idea, you know, but bring it forward. We'll bring it to the board, because I'm up for anything, honestly. So I try to encourage everybody in the club, whether they're new or they've been there for 50 years, you know, if you have an idea, just bring it forward, you know. I think.
Yeah. And unlike that video we saw in the beginning.
We have someone in our club that I just think of all the time that is that person. You know, Dan Perry. He likes to, we have a food trailer, and he is the one who wants to, you know, we do hamburgers and hot dogs, but he throws in, you know, mac and cheese bites, and, you know, we do all kinds of different things, but he is that guy who wants to do the waffles and that in the food trailer, you know, so
yeah,
that is his.
I think we need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
He mixes it up, you know, and he makes it fun, but there are people in the club that are like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to do anything different. So mix it up a little. It's fun.
And it's okay to do something different and not be successful. This is the only way that we kind of move forward.
Yeah.
Valuable resources. Again, there is so much information out there. The district directory, our district is typically very good about getting the directories out right at the beginning of the year. But this is a great resource for you as club president. You know, you'll know everyone who's on the cabinet. You'll know all the chairpersons of everything that's going on at the district level and the multiple district level and the international level. Contact information, website information, the calendar's in there, so you'll know when your governor's coming to visit you. So that directory is very resourceful, and your zone chairs will hopefully get those out to you as soon as they're available. Lions Club International has really spent the last couple of years updating the website. So like I said, it's one of those things you just got to click on there and just spend a couple days navigating through that. But there's every resource you can imagine is on our international website. The other thing is, if you've never done it, pick up the phone and call Oak Brook, Chicago. You're going to be very surprised how pleasant that process is. I've never called Lions Club International and have ever had a bad experience. Always very helpful, always very friendly. They're there to help you. So if at the end of the day, you're not getting what you need for an answer, pick up the phone. You might be surprised. District 23 also has a website, and we've done a pretty good job keeping that up to date. Good resources on there. The Constitution, bylaws, policy, and protocol is on there. The Lion's Tail is on there. So there's good resources on our own district website. Back to the Constitution, bylaws, as dry and as boring as all that seems to be, as club president, you really do have a responsibility to read that, have a general idea of that, know where to go to look for something if something comes up. There are some people who I think are very into that, and if you are struggling with something like that, we have chairpersons at the district and multiple district level for Constitution, bylaws, and policy and protocol.
Lion Key, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question about the constitutions and bylaws. If you have members that want to modify and add ratifications and changes, how would they go about actually doing that and getting approval? Because I do have members that are questioning. They do have some concerns, and
now,
they are expressing some.
Are you talking about the Constitution, bylaws at the international, multiple district level, or your own club level?
I'm just saying, just in all three levels, just like there's certain issues that they feel that transcend on an international situation, then they have situations that affect on a district level. And in some guys, I don't think some of our members know the difference between some of them, but some of the issues are social issues that they have concerns about and behaviors. So what are ways that they can address that in a constitution and bylaw? Is a question.
Yep. So there is a committee for Constitution, bylaws, policy, and protocol at the international level, at the multiple district level, and at the district level. And keep in mind that the international Constitution, bylaws is pretty much updated every year at the annual convention. There are amendments and changes that the delegates vote on every single year, and we have to make sure that our Constitution, bylaws are in line with the international one. So there are some things we cannot do if it goes against what the international Constitution, bylaws says. At the district and multiple district level, those documents are reviewed every year by the committees, and there is always something that comes up where someone says, well, this is old school, or this does not address what we're dealing with currently, we need to change that. So there is a process for proposing amendments and then having the delegates vote, because any change to a constitution bylaw has to be done by voting members, whether it's at the club member level, the district level, multiple district level, or international level. Policy and protocol changes do not require that. Those can be changed really or amended at any time during the year. So Roland, at the end of the day, if there's something that comes up that someone says, why is this not in our district constitution bylaws or international? Then that's communicated to those committees at whatever level you're talking to, and then it is addressed. I will talk to you at Roland, I think, more in depth on that at a personal level.
Do they give out reports of that type of stuff per se, or will they give out like a report to, because I haven't per se received anything like that, and I've gone about certain things like that. So these are why I'm asking certain questions like that, because there's been an ongoing concern because this deals with membership retention and stuff of that nature.
So
So
for
that's why I'm
example,
asking the
Roland,
question.
we just had our state convention May 1st, and District 23C voted on a constitutional update. So as a club president, as a club delegate, your club receives that information. When International makes a change, it's actually posted in the Lions magazine, so everyone can see the proposed changes. So the information is out there. I'm not quite sure why you would not get that. The bottom of this list, pay attention to the bottom of the list as a valuable resource. Past district governors, zone chairs, and region chairs. Again, there are people, Lions, who are available. If you're not one to navigate through websites or pick up the phone or read these documents, there are people, and I don't think there's a better resource than a Lion who's been there, done that. And like I say, there are many of us who are very involved with certain things at different levels that we have a better understanding versus some other Lions. So again, that directory has us all in there. So if you have questions about a certain committee or a certain thing, reach out to those committee chairpersons, region chairs, zone chairs, and past district governors. And again, if we don't have the answer, we're going to tell you, I don't have the answer, but we probably know somebody who does. So take advantage of that. And we're available all the time. There's nothing worse than a past district governor. We don't go away. These are some of the LCI resources that we've touched base on. And again, if you download the ebook from lionsclub.org, there is a hyperlink for all of these programs. A lot of these have been around for a while, the Blueprint for a Stronger Club, the Club Quality Initiative. But it's good stuff. It may help you figure out, a different approach to your club and doing something different. The club officer's manual, I think, is important. And again, I would encourage you to not just focus on your responsibilities as club president, but take a look at the secretary, the treasurer, your membership chair, your board of directors. There's resource information for all those positions. And you should have some understanding on all of that. The Global Action Team is also a good resource, and we've struggled over the years to really kind of put this, I think, in front of our grassroots line in our clubs. But our district, our multiple district, our international organization has the Global Action Team, where we have the Global Leadership Team, where Paula is currently the chair at the district level in providing all these leadership trainings and resources. We have our global membership team, which will help you in getting new members, new membership orientation, retention programs. I think I saw past council chair Hillary Kumnick on this meeting, but you want to talk about a resource for global membership. Get in touch with PCC Hillary Kumnick, and I know he would be happy to help you out with anything. And then we have the Global Service Team, which is something that was added a little bit later on. And most of you know Mary Crow and the things that have been done this year in particular with service projects, with farmers to families and all this other stuff. So if you're looking for, I need a service project, I need to get new members in my club, look in your directory, see who is the chairperson of these committees, call them up, email them. They will come to you. They will come to your club and help you and assist you in whatever you need. Even with this leadership stuff, if someone couldn't attend this seminar today, excuse me, we are recording it, so it's something that people can watch later. But what happens if a club president drops out mid-year? What happens if your club secretary drops out mid-year or something happens personally or whatever, and you are midstream in the year and you have a new officer that has to be trained? We're here. you know, I can meet with someone one-on-one and help them as an incoming president. And I have no doubt that those who are training our secretaries and treasurers would also come and sit with a club treasurer and help them through stuff. So this is a great resource, and you know, I encourage you guys to take advantage of it. And again, there should be communication. You should receive information from the Global Action Team and from your district governor as far as what these three groups are doing and what services and resources they're offering and providing to you guys.
So Keith, I just want to let you know that I can't see the presentation on my screen anymore, and it's nothing on your end. Something popped up on my screen that I'm afraid if I exit, there's nothing way for me to X off of it. So I can't see anyone's chat box, and I can't see the presentation. So I'm just listening to what you're saying. So I had my husband come up to try to stand up on the side to.
All right. Is everyone else having that problem, or does
No,
everyone else see the screen?
It popped up on my screen, and I'm afraid if I exit, I'm going to end up out of the group. So I'm leaving it up there and I'm just listening. So
okay.
I just can't see if anyone's clicking the chat button to ask questions. So I just don't want to hit anything. I'm not computer savvy. So
okay, thank
I
you.
just want to let you know.
You might need to log out, exit out, and then
yes, and I don't want to have to do that. So I'm listening. I want you guys to know I'm not avoiding your chat. If anyone's clicking on it, I can't see it. So
right. And I think Paula probably can see some of this stuff too. So
yeah,
I am
we'll trudge through it.
Chat, yes.
Okay, good.
All right. We'll trudge through it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Zoom. I hate it. Talking about problem solving, lengthy and boring meetings. Again, if you have an agenda, if you're following parliamentary procedures, you're keeping everyone engaged. It's an interesting, productive, efficient. I think you'll have people happy with that. People will come to meetings. One of the challenges I think we've seen this year is, you know, for me to drive, I live in Groton, for me to drive to my home club, Willimantic, or a multiple district meeting, you know, up in Southbury, an hour drive, and you show up and it's, you know, less than an hour meeting and it was chaos and you feel like there was actually nothing covered, nothing important. And then I have to drive home another hour. That's tough. So make it purposeful, make it, you know, worth everyone's time and effort to be there and to participate and be engaged. You as club president have control over that. Meeting location, again, things have changed over the years. You know, we're not meeting in restaurants. Sometimes meeting in restaurants is not always the best place. It can be noisy. There may not be AV equipment. You know, I know a lot of clubs have mixed up different meeting places, but we do want to make it sort of convenient for our members. And I am also seeing that a lot of clubs are mixing it up where it doesn't necessarily have to be a dinner meeting, even though we are, at some degree, again, a social club. Not everyone wants to come and spend $20, $30 on a meal. A lot of our memberships have couples, so, you know, when wife and husband come and it's $30 a person, it's a $60 meeting. So we need to be flexible on how our meetings are held, where and how. And I think we also have to be sort of forgiving for people who just can't come to those meetings. You know, I know a lot of clubs have this, you know, 3 strikes, you're out. I think you can be a great productive Lion member and not necessarily attend every single meeting. Maybe you're coming to the fundraising projects, the service projects. Maybe if we have it as a hybrid meeting and a Zoom meeting, that, you know, these Lions will be more likely to attend. So we have to think outside of the box. We have to be more flexible. One of the things that frustrates me, and I've been looking at the numbers for years, and I know Hillary's not going to like this, but, you know, our membership has just been on the decline. You know, we have new clubs, we go up, and then, but at the end of the day, it seems like we lose more members than we gain. And it's not just us, it's, you know, we see it in a lot of other places. So we have to figure out something different to maintain our membership and to encourage new people to join this great organization. Reminders about meeting, again, I suggest multiple ways: email, phone call, snail mail. Nothing can be more frustrating to hear someone say, I didn't know about that, or, there's got to be multiple places you can look to find out when something is happening and get in touch with someone. So as a club president, you should be responsible in making sure you get all that done.
We have a, besides the email that goes out, we also have our regular community Facebook page, but I also created a members only Facebook page so that members can just join that, where we can, we post our meetings, but we can also post just general stuff to members only. So
is it live? Do you do a Facebook Live kind of thing too?
Well, we can do Facebook Live on our community page. Like when we go out to events, I'll post live things that are going on from the site, but we have our membership only page. So that way we can talk directly to our members. If we wanted to have a club picnic or something like that, that would go on our members only page. But we can post our meetings, e-board meetings and things like that on our members only page. So that's another reminder. So, if you have 60 members there, that goes on that page as well. And they see that directly too.
Great. Conflict resolution. Like I say, things are going to come up. Everyone has an opinion and everyone has a right to an opinion. As a club president, the most important thing I think is for you to be there, be available, be accessible, and listen. We're not the judge and the jury here. And you have to have a process to address those issues. And our district policy and protocol and constitution bylaws, which you can find on our district website, there are several pages there on conflict resolution. And even at the international level, you can get mediators involved. There is a very legal process to conflict resolutions. Hopefully at our grassroots Lions level, it never has to go that far. But I think it's your responsibility as a club president to listen to the concerns, maybe try to get all parties involved to, have a conversation, maybe bring in an outside mediator or someone outside of your club. Again, zone chairs, region chairs, past district governors. We've done this before, where we've had within clubs that someone at the district level has been invited to come in and just, have a conversation with the group and offer some advice and offer some support. And then hopefully resolve this. Go ahead,
Sorry about that, Mike. Keith. What if they're reluctant to not want to go to mediation? I have a situation where I suggested mediation right out the gate, where one of them is a new member who's kind of really supportive of that, and I have a senior member who's totally against that. Yeah. And I feel like this individual is hurting my membership retention and also my membership growth and also my relationship with the community. I'm not really kind of per se not feeling some of the individual's behaviors per se. How would I go about addressing that?
Well, I think that's a conflict in itself. The conflict is how to actually resolve the conflict. What is the best way of, discussing the problem and coming up with a solution? I would respect, both sides. If someone does not want to go through mediation, then I would say, well, what is the alternative to that? What is it going to take to be able to have an open, positive conversation with this individual to address the problems and to move forward? And it may not be a legal mediator, but maybe it's someone at a different club or someone on the cabinet that everyone's comfortable with.
Well, they're kind of
and at the end of the day, Roland, at the end of the day, Roland, some of these conflicts are not resolved. And there are consequences to that.
I think they could be resolved. I just think that they just need to be a little bit more support from district governors and having better policies to support some of these conversations and things. Everything has to have a foundation per se. Sure. And I don't see the foundation to even have the base of these conversations. And that's the reason why I'm presenting some of these things, because I am going through some of these situations as a leader.
Yeah.
And I don't see some of the Lions Club equipment actually, or some of their manuals actually kind of address this type of thing.
Yeah, so that's something where I think at the district governor level, the conversation needs to be had with, vice district governors, region chairs, and zone chairs as far as what your personal actual conflict is and how we can help you. And again, that's something I can touch base with you on personally. Club Excellence Award, again, there's a variation from one year to the next. The club district governor will let you know, what strides they're looking for you to achieve during your year as a club president and as a club as far as contributing to particular projects, whether it's LCIF, reporting, on time. And again, the district directory is pretty straightforward on that. Look to the left, if you can see it, the art of recognition. Lions are volunteers and can easily walk away if they feel underappreciated. Recognize members often and immediately. And it does not costly. So, we're good. Lions are usually good about certificates and awards and recognitions, but one of the things I appreciate about our current district governor, Frank Rowe, and unfortunately he's probably not here to, well, maybe it's better he's not here for me to say it. And I don't know if it applies to everyone else, but every time I have a conversation with District Governor Frank, every time, it ends with him saying to me, as always, I appreciate everything you've done and you are doing.
Yep.
He ends every conversation with that. And, it means something. Some of us have received every award there is. And, you get to a point where you're like, geez, but just that simple statement of saying, thank you, I appreciate you. It goes a long way. So I would encourage you as club presidents to take that on yourselves. It's something I'm going to try to be better at, to just everything, we're all here as volunteers. And this has been a very easy year for us to say, oh, I can't do it. And I think that's one of the reasons why our membership is down. Mm-hmm. We have to show the appreciation. Awards, certificates, that's all fine. But like I say, it can be as simple as a simple thank you. So think about that.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more.
Succession planning. And boy, this applies to every level. Back in the day, we had over 2,000 members in our district. We're probably around 1,500 or something now. Back in the day, we'd have, people fighting to be a club president. There'd be elections, campaigns for running for district governor. Benches were very long, very deep, and with really good qualified members. Today's a different day, and here we are talking to Nicole today, who's been aligned for 3 years, and she's currently the club president of one of the largest clubs in our district. We have to plan ahead. We have to replace ourselves. We have to look for and identify the potential that our current membership has. We all come to the table with our own skill sets. And I love doing club surveys. I think as a club president, one of the best things you can do if you're not familiar with your membership is do a club membership survey. Try to pull some personal information out of your membership. What do you do? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? You may stumble across someone who's an IT genius, or who's crafty or something that you could pull them into your club, engage them and say, well, how would you like to be involved with this? Or it may open the door to new projects and new opportunities. But I think we all have a responsibility as general lions, as leaders. We all have a responsibility to be looking for this. And we encourage our zone chairs when you go to a club meeting or a club project, are you recognizing lions who have that leadership potential? membership in Lions is by invitation only. And I think one of the problems we have is sometimes the leadership positions. Some of these Lions are just sitting there waiting to be asked. Do you want to serve on a committee? Do you want to be a chairperson? Do you want to be a club president? So your responsibility is to be looking for these Lions, nourishing them, supporting them, giving them the resources they need to have in order to be successful. And again, all these things are available as far as training. Hopefully we'll have a normal year this year. We'll have a midwinter conference. We'll have in-person trainings. The USA Canada Forum is coming up in September. Again, I know someone like Hillary can attest how valuable the forums are as far as a resource for our grassroots Lions to go and come away with some really helpful information. So work on your bench. You know, a lot of us are scrambling at the last minute to find an incoming vice president or incoming president, or even committee chairpersons. So do a membership survey. I think you might be surprised what you may learn.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge to find people to step up for positions.
Yes, definitely. Especially new people.
Yeah.
Because they're not fully understanding what's ahead for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the challenges when we talk about our committees and our responsibilities of the committee, is you can put someone on a committee and then they have no clue what their responsibility is. And we see this at every level. That's why I'm a fan of having charges or having an actual written description of the committees. This is the committee, these are the committee members, these are the tasks and the responsibilities of the committee. This is the action plan. This is what we plan on doing to achieve those things. I think that information is very helpful for a new Lion who's joining a committee to say, oh, okay. And then if the torch is passed, you're going to be a future chairperson of that committee. Having that information passed year to year in a book, in writing, is very helpful.
That's what we have in our bylaws, club bylaws. Their
Is like sort of
expectations.
job descriptions or, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And we make sure every new person that comes in has a copy of the bylaws so that they understand.
This year we
Very
found
good.
a secretary for the next year. So she's mentoring under our secretary this year. Because some of these positions are very hard to come into the year that you come into it. Like secretary and treasurer, those are two very difficult positions.
They're probably the most demanding positions, quite honestly.
I think president is probably easier than those two positions. Like to be a treasurer is very, I would assume, very difficult. You have to understand numbers and I don't know what Excel, I don't even know what you use for that platform to be a treasurer, but you have to have a knowledge of money, I would think, and that type of, I don't have it, so I would never be treasurer. But, you know, those are two extremely difficult positions. And I think you need to be looking at members in your club that have that ability and start to maybe say, hey, in 2 years, would you consider being treasurer, and have them start mentoring now so they are ready to do it in 2 years or whenever. So we have a secretary now training.
That best person would be somebody in accounting skills or in that area.
And if you don't have someone in your club that does that, then, you know, you have to start looking for someone for the future and maybe having them shadow or mentor for a few years, someone now, so they're ready to take over in the future.
Well,
and
with our
there's
club,
people,
with our club,
Go ahead, Pete.
our exiting officers are tutoring the incoming new people who have no clue of what's going on. So that's a good help for us on our side.
Yeah. And again, as we talked about earlier in the presentation about having a good conversation with your outgoing president or incoming vice presidents. Transparency is very important. Everyone should be on the same page. But like I say, if you don't know something, there's always someone out there. I have served as a past, I'm a past district governor, but I never served as a club secretary or as a club treasurer. And as council secretary treasurer, I was a little reluctant to step into that position without having zero experience. Never looked at QuickBooks, never did anything like that. And I went to Eric Jacobson, who most people know as the guru of being a treasurer. And he's been mentoring me for the last 2 years. And, you know, I haven't been arrested yet for mishandling the money. But I'm so grateful that I did that, because now I am comfortable with that and I've learned something. And the key is I was asked, and again, this is where you have to look at your members, and even if they don't have that particular skill set, you know, maybe you can nurture them and support them and say, look, we're here to help you. You may not think you're going to be a good club president, but you're not going to do it alone. We're going to support you, mentor you, be there for you. I can't tell you how many Lions we've put into leadership positions who came in sort of reluctantly, and we're incredibly successful because of the support system. So, you know, we only have a few more minutes before District Governor-elect Michelle is going to kind of join us and say a few words. But, you know, again, these presentations are not the way it's supposed to be done. I'm looking forward to hopefully, you know, meeting in person with everyone and having more of a roundtable open discussion with everyone. I, you know, am concerned for you guys as incoming presidents. I think you have a lot of challenges. This organization as a whole has a lot of challenges to take on this year. But I think if you're a true Lion at heart, you're going to figure this out. You're going to have a great, successful year. And just know that there's a ton of other people around you supporting you and are here to help you. You can always reach me. I am in the directory. My email is lionkeith23c@yahoo.com. Cell number is 860-514-2082. So if anyone ever has a question or wants to chat or whatever, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to assist. Does anyone have a question?
Well, I had a statement based upon what was on the chat. Somebody was asking about the Connecticut Civic Ambassador Association, which is something that I was signaling to as a place where Lions should be going to recruit at. These are people that are interested in civics, and it's a statewide program where we can get good quality leaders and people that are already doing civic activities, but they're just not Lions, you know? So that was a little bit of something that I wanted to bring an offer to the table.
Where would you make that connection, Roland?
I can give it to you directly offline, but you can go on the Civic Ambassador online. They're sponsored by Democracy Now! I have the email. Yeah, I have the email address and stuff. I can give it to you guys later.
That'd be great.
But I think there's something that we as Lions should be looking into for recruitment.
Sure. Anybody else have any question, comment they'd like to share? Just unmute yourself. I think at this point, we're at that point.
I have a quick couple of comments. I'm coming into my second term as president, and just a couple of quick observations here. I found that the handbook, the district handbook, to be really helpful, but what would make it better, and I don't know if it's gone to press yet, but I think it would be even better if there was like a bar chart of the so-called chain of command from the international level all the way on down through the local level. I think that would be really helpful. The other thing that I thought would be helpful is to have like a list of acronyms, because even though I've been in Lions for 15 years and I was in the Navy for over 20 years, the list
we are a club of acronyms.
It would be really helpful to know what that is in combination with the chain of command. So I thought that would be helpful. The other thing is that sometimes I find, we're all busy in our own respective lives, and I find that there's a lot of emails. And again, I think what would be helpful is if I knew who was getting the emails so I wouldn't duplicate efforts. Because a lot of times I'll take those emails and I'll forward them to the club, and sometimes they've already received them. I don't know who gets what. Sometimes I do understand. It'll say specifically for the club members receive this or whatever, but a lot of times I don't see that. So it would be helpful, especially at the district level, of if you folks feel as if the club members would benefit from an email, then just say that and I'll forward it. You know, just an observation. And then the last thing was, is that where can we find this recording?
It's usually done as a YouTube recording, and then the district, like Governor Frank, will put out a link for this. The seminars that were done last year, if you go to Lions District 23C website, under resources, you'll see the 4 trainings that we did last year.
Great.
For President, Secretary, Treasurer, and membership. So once this is wrapped up today, there's other presentations this morning. They will put that format together and send out a link for you guys to see the recording.
The other comment I have is that I think it would be helpful to have quarterly meetings with just presidents. There's been a really good exchange of ideas going on today, especially through the chat. And I think it'd be.
And it's been tradition in the past. I'm not sure what Governor Michelle will plan on, but we typically have a president's breakfast at the very least at the very beginning of the year, where we pull all the club presidents together and sit with the district governor. And there's a great open conversation about that. And there have been times when a sitting governor would do something mid-year. But I agree with you. I think it's a great opportunity to get sort of the leaders of the district together in one room if possible, to share good and bad and realize that we're all in the boat together, where there's no borders here. Everyone's trying to do the same thing here. So when Michelle chimes in, we'll make sure that we'll get her plan for that. This year, unfortunately, you know, we just weren't able to pull all that stuff off.
Understood. Thanks. This is
Thank
really
you.
helpful.
That's good stuff.
Sure.
Anybody else? The silence is deafening.
Hey, Suzanne
Paula,
here.
do we have Michelle floating around in there yet? I can't see.
I am here.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello,
How
Michelle.
are you? Good morning, everybody. Is it my turn, Keith?
It is. We want to welcome you to the presentation. It was obviously a different one than we're used to. We had some really great comments and people looking forward to your year as district governor, and maybe share with us what we can look forward to and expect this year. So the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Keith.
you. And I want to thank both Keith and Nicole for a very great presentation this morning and taking the time to put it together. It was much appreciated. I did hear everything, even though I was offline. It seemed like I was offline. I did hear it all, and you guys did a wonderful job. So thank you again. And I'd like to congratulate all the incoming presidents for taking on your position and for coming here today. You took the first step on having a great, successful year. You have been given some great tools today. I'd like you to take this information and use it over the course of your year. And if you get stuck, remember, we are all here to help you succeed. So over the summer, take the time, excuse me, to meet with your team and come up with your action plan for the coming year. Set your goals and find out what you would like to achieve. Now's the perfect time to survey your club members. Lions Club International has developed survey guides just for you. Blueprint for a Stronger Club, My Club, My Way, are just a few examples of what's out there. Take this time over the summer to strengthen your club and hear from them. This past year, many clubs learned to reinvent themselves, and many clubs struggled to serve their communities. As the role of president, your club members will be leaning on you. They will follow your direction. Remember to keep in contact with your members, email, text, even pick up the phone. Find out a way to communicate with them. This is vital that we keep in contact and show them that we care. You are the leaders who will make it happen. Inspire, encourage your members to make your communities a better place. Our members, our Lions family, are the core of who we are and what we do. Without them, we are nothing. And with them, we can accomplish so much more. Do not forget to praise them every chance we get. Teamwork makes the dream work. 104 years ago, it was one man with a vision to make a difference in his community. We have built on that one man's vision to what we have become today. So over the past many months, I developed a team and I've met with them. numerous times. And we have some great ideas in place. So I would like you to save the date for August 14th. There will be on that Saturday a district-wide rally. This will be the perfect opportunity for you to come, meet my new cabinet, hear the plan, the vision. There's some really exciting stuff that we're going to be preparing for you. What we have, a new service project, a unique membership plan that we have signed up with International. Oh, and wait, yes, I have a district-wide Governor Challenge patch that you can all achieve. It's all very doable. All I ask you to do is believe. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So, Kurt, I did hear you long ago back in January, and I did take your advice for the President's Breakfast. So, Presidents, you are invited September 25th, where you will have the chance to ask questions and work out issues directly with the Global Action Team. Please come and look. You'll have some information coming out real soon. And yes, I do have it all worked out. We will have 4 meetings, some in person, some during Zoom, just with the presidents and the Global Action Team. This is for you, so you can achieve your goals. So coming September, October, my leadership team has put together what we're going to call Webinar Wednesdays. Yes, we're going to continue some virtual training right from the comfort of your home. At least once a month, the leadership team will be hosting various seminars. They will be offered to everyone, and we ask you to give them a try. And we're going to promise that you're going to have some fun. So finally, I'm going to conclude with next year is going to go by very quick. Stay rooted to who we are and why we all serve. I can't wait to visit with each of your clubs next year and hear the difference you are making in your communities. I want to thank you for your kindness, your compassion, and your dedication to your clubs and the Lions of District 23C. You guys are going to have a phenomenal year. I can't wait to visit you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, VDGE Michelle. We appreciated your comments. And I look forward to seeing all of you on August 14th. That concludes our seminar at the moment. You are more than welcome to stay around for the secretary and the treasurer seminars that will be kicking off shortly.